For the last few months, I've been feeling this constant pressure in my upper back, my shoulders and neck. And I told myself it's probably just stress and tension and the weight of everything that was going on, that is going on. But yesterday something shifted, and I want to share that experience with you. I had a session with Flavia using the Greenberg method, and we didn't just treat the pain. We started to listen to the pain. And what came up, it surprised me. It's in a way mind-blowing. Because this pressure, it wasn't just physical, it was memory. It was basically emotion and energy that's been stuck in my body for decades. And I realized I was in the middle of something I've been working on for a while now, what I call the 9 year echo. So when I tracked it back already during the session, but especially after the session, it took me 27 years into the past. So basically, 3 cycles ago, I was 4, almost 5 years old. This is 1998. And I had my first experience of really being seen. Actually, I was a little boy who could do math and calculations like magic, basically. People were impressed, I was praised, I was valued, and that felt incredible. Um, but what it also did, it planted a seed. So a belief, a seed that said, I need to prove myself. I need to impress. If I make a mistake, people turn away from me. That was my personal experience growing up, which was connected to father figure also, I'm not blaming, but this is what I often talk about also in terms of how the conditioning is happening. Not always negative conditioning, but conditioning is happening through societal um, uh, parental expectations. And there, there was a moment, and this is just very raw, where I realized that I had this amount of expectation on me that I had to show up. I had to show up. And if I make a mistake, even if it's just the way people look at me, the way people turn away from me, it basically wasn't allowed. So that's where the fear started, the fear of not being enough, the fear of basically losing love if I fail. And that belief got basically locked in very deep. And now, fast forward 9 years later, it's 2007. I'm in Turkey. I get into this wild accident trying to impress a girl. I hit the back of my head, like basic, no, I hit my back so hard on the ground. I'm not going into how this accident happened. I'm just saying I tried to impress a 14-year-old Dutch girl. Um, and fell on my head, literally, basically, and had to stitch my skull together, 13 stitches. Um, it was physically maybe the most painful experience I ever had. Now, I'm still laughing about the whole experience when I look back, but um, because it feels like a joke. But yesterday, I actually felt it. I saw myself in that moment again. Only this time, not just the physical pain, but the whole emotional and energetical pain and fear that was related to that whole accident. I remember my mother's face after that happened. So I was conscious. I was not how do you say that? So I was aware in that moment, not just after the accident, but also on the whole way to the ambulance and to the hospital and everything. So I have certain pictures still in my mind. I remember her fear. I remember my own fear. I remember the whole helplessness in that moment and how all that emotion didn't go anywhere. It just stayed. It was just buried. And I never really processed it, never gave it space. And now that was what my body has been carrying. So it's interesting to see that correlation of also behavior correlation of trying to prove, trying to impress um, people, and then coming back. Now here I am in my early 30s, feeling that pressure that actually makes no rational sense. Trying to carry the weight of responsibilities, of expectations, again, trying to prove, trying to impress, again, caught in that same old energy. And finally, yesterday, something broke open, basically. Because I didn't just understand the pattern, I released it, I felt it through the body, through breath, through basically presence in that moment. And I realized understanding is super important. And it is just the first step. Healing at the end of the day only happens through the body. So it's not enough to know where it comes from, even though I invite you to look back at your own journey, to reflect back on your own journey and on your own 9 year cycles. But at the same time, we need to move it. We need to feel it. We need to let it go. And that's what I believe, and that's why I believe that real transformation is collaborative. I could never have done this alone. And this experience yesterday showed me where this work is leading me. And yeah, the thing is, it is about remembering, it is about finding the echo. And at the end of the day, finally letting it fade away. Um, Fade away. So here's my invitation. Look back. Where were you 9 years ago? 2016, 2007, 1998, maybe 1989. What theme is repeating itself? What pain is still living in your body? What belief have you been carrying that no longer serves you? What belief have you been carrying that no longer serves you? The root of that belief will determine your decisions today. Understanding that root, releasing that root, that's real cycle and pattern breaking in this lifetime. Because when you recognize these cycles, not just with your mind, but with your whole being, you start to see the real story your body is telling you. And that's, I believe, that's where life begins. So where this echo ends, life begins.